All right, my name is Randle. I'm a senior marketing student here, and I'd like to thank the judges and my peers for being here to hear out my big idea. Just a quick background. When I think of a big idea, or when I was thinking of this big idea, I thought of something that really, I tried to think of a topic that was always on my mind. A topic that was maybe bigger than myself, something that affected you guys, my peers, and I started thinking bigger than that and started thinking of a big idea as a generational thing. So what's something that I could create that would help our generation? And while I was doing this, I was watching TV, and we all know some of the most unique news coverage we've seen in probably a couple of years has been regarding our president and our democracy. And so I started asking some of my friends, some of my peers, what they think about this, what they think about all the things that are going on from the election, from issues in the White House, from those issues that have stemmed out and interacted with us in our everyday lives. And what I realized is we were having conversations, and we kept having conversations that sounded smart, but they never got anywhere. We just kept talking about the issues and never led anywhere. And that led me to this. It's called Back to the Basics, and it's civic education for millennials. And to clearly define civic education so we're all on the same page. Civic education in a democracy is an education on democracy. Democratic means that citizens are actively involved in everything that goes on in their everyday life. Civic education in a democratic society means that we need to be concerned with promoting and understanding and the ideals of that democracy, because if we're not doing that, then it goes to complete waste. So about us, Back to the Basics will be a multifaceted service and program that will teach and promote informed, engaged, and committed values of democracy in our nation's politics. Our mission is to prepare all students, particularly millennials, so high school to college age students, to be informed and participate in civic and democracy so that all Americans are ready and willing to tackle challenges that confront our people and our nation. Our vision with this program and service is to reinvigorate the concept of, there's a typo there, it should be civics, and inspire current and future generations to recognize this knowledge as essential for the protection and strength of our democracy. And to quote President JFK in a speech he made, he said, "The ignorance of one voter is a threat to an entire democracy." So that kind of shows you from a president's standpoint how vital education about democracy is to a democracy. So I broke this down into 3 problems. The first problem is that millennials don't feel like the government and politics support them. That's a common attitude that millennials feel all across the nation. When asked if they call themselves politically engaged or active, 79% of young Americans say no. Millennials believe they can have an impact but aren't sure how. Stats show that millennials care about social causes almost more than any other age demographic. If that's the case, then why are we so uninvolved in politics? Part of that is because 50% of us don't have trust in politics. We don't have trust in the judiciary system, or that the president represents our attitudes. Another problem is political ignorance. I had a few talks with people from older generations, particularly baby boomers, who have this idea that millennials are just ignorant. And that is partially true, but that's not because of a lack of information. 61% of millennials receive their news from Facebook, which is a huge issue because we all know that Facebook has been having huge issues as far as fake news and really bipartisan ideas. And part of that is what's in it for us. We can't just become political fans. When we feel disenfranchised from our democracy, we don't see any reason to learn about it. If you don't sell fridges, you don't need to know anything about refrigerators. You just need to know that food goes into it. That's the attitude that our age group has been having towards politics. We feel that our vote doesn't matter, so why learn anything about it? Being an American can't be just a blind devotion. We can't just choose a political side. We need to know why we're choosing it. Another problem that I looked into was education. This is going to seem like a tough issue because, why would you be teaching politics in an educational system? But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about teaching political history. We're talking about teaching parts of the government that people don't know about. This number might surprise you, but only 37% of millennials know the three branches of the American political system. Can name all three. And a lot of this has to do with the focus and funding on STEM, which I'll talk about a little bit more. But a lot of the political funding and funding from businesses has been on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So our target market here is educational organizations and establishments, and also the largest voting eligible age, which is millennials. As of 2018, millennials will be the most dominant voter eligible group in the nation. And that's very, very, very worrisome if we don't really care about politics as a nation. So this is my solution. Back to the Basics goal is to create a nationwide initiative, a service and program that revitalizes the engagement for politics, government, and our democracy among this largest age group. To kind of paint the picture for you, this is going to be a multifaceted approach like I mentioned before. And the first goal we have is to create a website that will act as a hub for YouTube videos. MOOCs, which is a popular term for massive online classes, which you guys should know became popular in the past few years with edX and MIT, who offers free classes. We're going to have boards where people can speak. We want to basically recreate Twitter, but make it a more established platform where people can speak about politics. And I'll go into a little bit more of that. We want to do have an idea where people can submit research papers. And we also want to do a really important thing that we thought about, which is activities, local, regional, and national trips. And that'll involve millennials gathering together and doing civic duties, learning about civic engagement, not only in their community, but in their region, and more importantly, on a national level. So part of our action plans is to align our goals and mission with the large coalitions that currently exist but are outdated. Most notably, Sandra Day O'Connor, who was a retired Supreme Court justice, created something called iCivics. iCivics was a program for mostly kids between 8 and 12 years old, and that was teaching them to play games, learning civics. Obviously that won't apply to us, but we like to align our goals and our mission with someone like her who's a political figure and has the ability to get funding for a plan like this. We also want to begin the communication and targeting in regards to millennials in this very unique time in the political landscape that I spoke about. So this is part of our 30 and 60 and 90-day plan. The first 30 days, we want to start creating a working website, producing written and visual content, and plan to meet with people who can facilitate this. At 60 days, we want to run tests on the website, make adjustments, promote the website, and start planning out our marketing. And at 90 days, we want to launch the website, promote on social media, and begin the boots on the ground phase. Just to touch a little bit more about the curriculum and what this will really be about. Right now, if there is civics education anywhere, it's really old school. We're talking about dry textbooks, lectures, worksheets. What we want to do is the term that we're going to call action physics. This is going to be teaching people how and why to engage civically. As I spoke about before, millennials over-index compared to other age groups on wanting to have experiences that mean something to them, and this will be a huge selling point for us. And as I spoke about before, as far as aligning with other programs, a big thing here is that in 2012, the Education Department under the Obama administration laid out a huge roadmap detailing a lot of the issues I spoke about right now. They understand that the lack of civic education in the United States is becoming an issue. So we want to really align ourselves with that roadmap and seek funding from the opportunities that they have for us. And the main purpose behind this is that we want to create something that our generation needs, and that's civic knowledge. I want to share a few questions with you guys. 73% of people answered this correctly. Who is in charge of the executive branch of the government? Only 73% of millennials knew that. We elect a U.S. senator for how many years?
6 years.
Millennials only, please. Sorry, guys.
6 years.
6. Good job. Only 39% of us got that correct. The House of Representatives has how many voting members?
It's I know this is 500.
Yeah. Only 12% of millennials got that right. And while some of these questions may seem trivial, it points to a bigger issue. We need to look back at historical democracy as a historical sense to really understand what kind of things we need to look at for moving forward. And that's what we're looking to create. After we create that, we're looking to share it. We want to share it with the nation first, but then share this to the world. Having an understanding of the way your government works can make you an active member of it. And then one of the biggest parts of this platform is going to be putting millennials in one place where they can speak to each other like they haven't spoken to each other before. Something really disturbing that I see on Twitter is that there's nothing positive about the dialogue between people. And people almost treat politics like a sports team. This is kind of new for most political platforms, but we're going to plan to moderate this conversation. When I say moderate, we're not going to delete people's comments, but there are programs that I've looked into that can filter through comments, and it can upvote, and it can siphon through comments that have certain words, certain phrases that are pushing positive ideas, and that are coming up with solutions rather than just banter and back and forth and calling someone a certain name for their political view. So that'll be a huge part of that. And that's pretty much it. And the last thing I have here is democracy is in our hands.